Several questions immediately come to mind. Firstly, why wasn't the Haidar report made public immediately? Why must cabinet ministers read the Haidar report first to find out whether it is good or bad for the government before deciding whether it should be made public? We should follow the best international practices of countries which only practice accountability, transparency and integrity, where such inquiry reports, whether by Royal Commission or inquiry committees, are made public. At the same time, they are submitted to the appointing authorities to show that the government has nothing to hide, regardless of the findings. If you want to be a first world, this is what you should do. And that is the third world mentality. You decide whether to release the reports or not after you have looked at it. First world mentality, you release it simultaneously, you submit it. Secondly, why should there be another three-man ministerial committee to study the report of the three-man Haidar committee on the Lim Kit Siang? One does not need to have any legal background or experience in cabinet, in charge of law affairs, to decide what is right and proper to be done on a question of accountability, transparency and integrity. Not only about the Lim Kit revelations about the provision of the course of justice on the fixing of judicial appointments and the fixing of court decisions, but the urgent need for judicial reform. The New Straits Times today reported that the three-man Haidar panel into Lim Kit have all agreed that the Royal Commission inquiry should be established to investigate, although they have submitted separate reports. This follows the scoop by Sin Chiu yesterday that the three panel members have separately recommended a Royal Commission inquiry. Why then is the Prime Minister and Cabinet dragging their feet in immediately announcing agreement in principle to establish a Royal Commission inquiry unless they have things to hide? I suggest that the three ministers of the Nazari Committee to study the Haidar report, and all Cabinet ministers should be given a copy of this book. This is the Rais team's book, Freedom Under Executive Power in Malaysia. To understand why the foot dragging for judicial reforms must end with the Royal Commission inquiry to restore the independence and integrity of the judiciary. Let me quote three passages from this Rais team book. 1. Since Merdeka, the judiciary had by and large enjoyed its share of independence, and none of the previous three Prime Ministers who had incidentally received their legal training in England as much as nudged the judiciary, let alone assaulted it in Parliament, as did Dr. Mahathir. 2. The period 1986-1989 could perhaps be summarized to be the finest hour of the Malaysian judiciary, but it was during this short period that it handed down those judgments. Did not go down well. Those few judgments that give freedom of boost. These judgments did not go down well with the Prime Minister. His dissatisfaction with the judiciary came into sharp focus when he was clearly stung by the various decisions of the court. And number 3, since the dismissals of the three Supreme Court judges in 1988, the government has not taken steps to restore confidence in the Malaysian judiciary. Instead, key judicial posts have been filled by judges who participated in the government administrative actions against the judges. Recent legislation has eliminated judicial review of important national security legislation. The government has been openly critical of the Malaysian Bar Council, which has sought to defend judicial independence in Malaysia. This criticism, in conjunction with the recent action for contempt of court against the Secretary of the Bar Council, indicate a continued willingness to maintain pressure against the judiciary and those who seek to defend it. National and international confidence in the independence and integrity and quality of the judiciary have suffered from one crisis to another since Rais book, culminating in the latest Lim Kit Siang. This should be the finest hour of the Cabinet ministers to prove that they are not half-wasics and are capable of doing the greatest service to the nation by establishing the Royal Commission inquiry with full and untrammeled powers to delve into the deep-seated causes for the decline and fall of the independence, integrity and quality of the judiciary in the past 2 decades, and to make recommendations to re-establish a world-class judiciary as an important element of Malaysia's international competitiveness to face the challenges of globalization. And one other item,